to today's webinar with Monetize Your Passion Society. I'm Crystal, the creator of Monetize Your Passion Society and a repurposing and visibility strategist. So I help a lot of my clients who feel really overwhelmed just by taking content creation completely off their plate. So I handle email marketing, social media, and then I also do random things like web design and all that fun stuff that deals with creating content. Monetize Your Passion Society is a community for women entrepreneurs who are ready to monetize their passions and build a network of referrals with women from all industries. So the group is part of Greater Rochester, New York, but we also hold virtual events like these, virtual happy hours for all of our members that are located all over the world. And hopefully we can expand and have other chapters in other cities. That's the big idea. So if you are here today and haven't joined the free community yet, please do so by visiting crystalstatsky.com/monetize your passion society and join us for free. And without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker, Ashley Kang. Today, she'll be discussing how to leverage your creativity. And I am so excited for this topic, and I really hope you are too. I've always needed some sort of creative outlet in my life, and it was always by building my brand. So whether it was when I was doing photography, or I was booking bands as a booking agent, or when I was a travel blogger, and now in my own business of digital marketing, I handle that creativity by creating stuff for my clients. So I've always been that really creative person. So this topic really hits home for me, and I'm really excited for it. So Ashley is a business strategist, and she's very passionate about empowering solopreneurs like myself and other entrepreneurs to elevate their business and get organized by setting up actionable business plans and strengthening their operations. She specializes in strategy, organization, and breaking big ideas into actionable steps. So I'm very excited she's here with us today. So Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and let you just take the floor. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop in the chat or unmute yourself. And yeah, go ahead.
Great. Well, thank you, Crystal, for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Like Crystal said, my name is Ashley Kang. I am a business strategist and the CEO and founder of AHK Business Management. And I love everything strategy, planning, organizing, and helping business owners optimize the time that they have so that they can make impact on their business and grow their businesses. So I'll share about how you can connect with me later. But if you ever have questions during or after, if you're watching the replay, you can connect with me on Instagram or email. I love connecting with people in the online space. It makes the online business world feel a little bit smaller, a little more personal. So like Crystal said, I'm going to be talking about how do we leverage our creativity as business owners. And you're probably wondering, what does a business strategist have to say about creativity? Quite a lot. You're going to walk away with thoughts and tips in 3 areas: vision and goals, strategy and planning, and then systems and processes. So a little bit of a wide net. But first, what do we mean by creativity? I think of creativity in 2 different ways. The first being what we traditionally think of, like the creative arts and artisans and things like photography and graphic design and tangible things that you're making art with your hands, right? And then there's creativity in the sense of like innovation, thinking outside the box, growing and building. And when I talk about leveraging your creativity, I mean both. I know for me, even though I'm a business strategist and I'm not a graphic designer by any means, I still have creative outlets. I think creatively in my business. And so I think this topic today applies to you, whether you are a business dealing in more of the creative arts and visual storytelling, or if you're a really innovative thinker who has a lot of ideas and loves to create and build within your business, whatever field that is. So the other part about being creative minds is that I know this for myself. We can get distracted by all of the different and new things out there. Shiny object syndrome is a thing, right? We get overwhelmed by all the things we need to do versus what we want to do in our businesses. And then sometimes we get stuck by analysis paralysis and are just like, it's not from lack of ideas, it's just so many things we want to do and what direction to head. So the 3 points that I mentioned earlier that we're going to go through kind of help us leverage all of those ideas, all the creativity that we already have going on to help us build and grow our businesses. Crystal, always just stop me if there's anything because I can go.
Great. Keep it going.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about vision and goals first. I love using this dinner party analogy. If you hang around me long enough, you're going to hear me use this a lot. Think about planning a dinner party. You don't just say, I'm going to have a bunch of friends over for a party and have a meal. And you don't just walk right into the grocery store without a menu, right? You have to think about what kind of food do I want to serve my guests? What decorations, what supplies do I need? The same idea with vision and goals. Having vision and goals is like having a menu plan. You need to have a direction to head in. Otherwise, you're going to be wandering around the store, wasting time, or you're going to be trying all these different things in your business and not actually making any progress. As creative business owners, right, to leverage all of those amazing ideas going on in your head, you have to have a vision for your business, some direction that's going to guide you and help you make decisions. And from those decisions and that vision, you can come up with your goals, the things that you want to try to achieve. So then when you're stuck in the everyday hustle of client work, when you come up from air, you have to reorient yourself, right? If you don't have a vision and don't have a direction, when you come up for air, it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Where am I going with the business? And then we get caught in the hamster hustle, right? We just are in the day-to-day grind. And then, 5 years later, we're like, we have really nothing to show for except we've served X amount of clients, but my business hasn't grown. I'm not where I thought I'd be. So again, vision is that guiding light. Why are you doing what you're doing? Granted, your vision can change, right? For me, one of my personal pieces of my vision is I would like to be able to save up to own a home. So a lot of the things that I'm doing in my business are, what are the revenue generating things? And I'm not really thinking about as much of team development. Everything's centered around revenue generation. And then, when I eventually am able to buy my own home, my vision's going to change a little bit again. And then my, goals for my business will change. Vision changes, and that's okay. But you need to have something, a marker to move towards, right? And it helps you focus your creativity so that you're actually being productive for your business.
And do you find that having vision boards or something along those lines is very helpful for you to reach your goals?
Yeah. So I'm very much like a linear person, but I love visuals. I have a part of my desktop actually is like my vision board that I created on Canva. It's probably nothing exciting looking to the trained eye, but having a vision board, some people will just have, this ratty old Post-it note with the things that they want to achieve that they have, stuck on their computer screen. It's whatever works for you, right? But again, the more creative people, we like our mood boards, we like our vision boards. Pinterest is always great.
Pinterest is always great. So I used to have a bulletin board right here, and I wrote like 10,000 all over it because I wanted to make 10,000 in a month. And it really helped me reach that goal. Like, I don't know if it was just coincidence, we always say we manifested it. But it really just gave me something visually to work towards. And I got to tell you about this crazy thing that I bought recently. I know it's very off topic, but I bought a Mercedes grill. So like a grill from a car. It was like a stupid buy, but I was like, I dream of having a G-Wagon, like a $200,000 SUV. So I'm going to put it right on my wall and I'm going to look at it every single day. And that's what I'm going to work towards.
Exactly. And that's why having a visual reminder of your vision and your goals is really helpful. It's a motivating force behind what you're doing every day, especially when you have those moments of like, oh my goodness, this week was a wreck. What am I doing? Like, it was a dumpster fire. And then you see that little, your picture of your dream car or your dream house. And you're like, yes, I remember why I'm doing it. And it helps, helps you make decisions for your business too.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And I do want to interrupt you really quickly because I see new people coming in. So Keisha and Cindy, feel free to pop in the chat at any time. Let us know if you have any questions, and also let us know where you're from, because I always love seeing where people are located all over the world. And I also have to say a fun fact, Keisha's my virtual assistant. So thank you so much, Keisha, for being here. It means a lot. She's amazing.
Well, welcome. Okay, back to our dinner party analogy. So we talked about vision and goals, right? And the next bit is strategy and planning. So with our analogy here, so you have your menu, you have your vision figured out. Now you have to make your grocery list, right? Because if you don't make a grocery list, you are going to be running around the store with your head on backwards. You might forget something that you needed to get. You might buy something that you don't actually need and, maybe blow your grocery budget. Something, we've all been there, right? So having a list, having an action plan helps you execute on your vision and goals. So that way you are being productive, efficient, you're using your time wisely. Also, this is where strategies come in. So we hear a lot about marketing strategy, brand strategy, financial strategy. I mean, all sorts of strategy, right? So this is where you can start adapting different kinds of strategies for your business. This is where when you have one of your goals might be to start a podcast, for example. This is when you start planning out, what do I need to do? What do I need to break down to actually give myself a task so that I can actually go and complete it? I think for creative people, we're really good with the ideas, and then it's really hard to actually go do it because we can't break things down into actual tasks. And what I mean by tasks are, the short little snippet that is an actionable piece you go do. It's a verb. So instead of, you don't just leave it at, I want to start a podcast. It's, okay, I need to research different hosting platforms. Do I need to hire a podcasting manager? What are some topics I could talk about? I'm just spitballing here, but you get the idea of, you don't just leave the big idea there. You have to flesh it out. And part of leveraging your creativity, lists sometimes I think feel confining for people, or project plans, but they actually give you a bit of a, I wouldn't say training wheels. They give you a thread to follow, and sure, things might happen and you might have to veer off course a little bit, but at least you have something to work off of. I know when I start planning a project, I get really excited. I have my whole project plan, and then I start executing, and I'm like, I need to add this to the list, or I don't actually need to do that. And that's okay. That's the natural cycle of learning and doing things in your business. And sometimes with strategy and planning, this is the other part about leveraging our creativity, is making sure we have touch points consistently to go back to our strategy, go back to our plans, and make sure, are we actually on track? Am I actually making progress? So, we hear a lot about quarterly planning, quarterly goals, monthly planning sessions, weekly CEO days, right? And those are all different kinds of ways to have touch points, to track your progress along your goals, to take a pause, make sure you're moving in the right direction. And also it's a great time to see, is there a way I can make this even better? And that's where innovation and creativity can really take center stage, because you are intentionally trying to use the creativity that you've got to make things more exciting, more interesting for your clients, more interesting for you and your team, and find creative ways to do things. So,
Yes, absolutely.
and then the last little bit that I mentioned, systems and processes. So again, back to the dinner party analogy. I love this analogy. I know I said this before, but
I love it too, and I've never heard of it before, so this is awesome.
yeah, I love this mostly because I love cooking, and grocery shopping is one of my favorite things to do. So,
Mine too.
I gotta love me my Trader Joe's. Anyways, back to that analogy. So you have your meal plan, you have your grocery list, but even better, the smart thing to do is to group all the items on your grocery list into the departments and areas or aisles of the store. So that way you are not, crisscrossing from the dairy aisle back to the produce, back to the dairy aisle, and wasting time. That way, you go in, you get everything you need, and you can go home and start cooking. So essentially, grouping your lists is having a process, having a system, making you more efficient so you can go in, do what you need to do, and get out and move on to the next thing. I always joke, well, I don't joke. I like to tell a story about my dad has a route through Costco that he follows. The man can be in and out of Costco in under 15 minutes with a overflowing cart because he has a system and a process of how he goes through the store and just, gets all of his stuff. So whenever I'm doing things in my business, I'm like, how can I make this more like dad in Costco? So
That's impressive.
yeah, I mean, he's a shopping fiend. So everybody try to be like my dad in Costco with your business. So this is where having systems and processes help us as creative business owners be efficient and also consistent, right? For those of you who have a team or are looking to have a team or outsourcing, Crystal, I'm sure you experience this yourself. Sometimes you need to have directions and be able to explain how to do what you need to get done to your team. And that's where having systems and processes like SOPs or standard operating procedures are helpful. Having a business hub where all the important links and documents and metrics are collected so that everybody can access. Having a client relationship management system or a CRM to make sure that your client onboarding and offboarding is consistent and that no steps or tasks get dropped. Having a project management tool, again, what are the systems and processes that you need? I'm sure that there's a system and a process behind all these webinars and Crystal's YouTube channel as she produces things. So again, it makes us more efficient. It saves us time. It makes us more consistent so that we don't have to worry about things running smoothly or that we're treating our clients differently, right? Because that's a huge piece of making sure every client experiences the same excellent service. So having systems and processes help us, again, leveraging our creativity. I know I keep saying that, but it's really important, right? As service providers, as business owners, how can we systematize? How can we show up consistently in our business for our clients, for our team, for ourselves every day? So again, leveraging your creativity, it means setting direction, having that vision, making a plan and following through with that plan, and then also having systems and processes to make you more efficient and consistent as you start executing on those plans and your vision.
So I would love to know, while we're on this topic of systems and processes,
Yes.
I just like asking this question to see what other people are using. What
Sure.
kind of platforms do you use? Like, for example, my CRM is Honeybook.
Okay.
And then project management is Asana.
Mhm.
content, like a place to dump my content is Trello. So like what kind of platforms do you use?
Sure. I use Dubsado for my CRM. So Dubsado and Honeybook, for people who don't know, are, I think, the two industry leaders as far as CRMs, or client relationship management systems, for onboarding, offboarding clients, sending out invoices and contracts and all of that good stuff, and canned emails, setting up workflows and automations. I could talk about Dubsado all day, but I won't. So I use that for my CRM. And then I use ClickUp, which, like Asana, is a project management tool. I run actually 80%, 90% of my business using ClickUp because it can do all the things. But primarily it's my task and project management tool. I really love it. It's great. There's a bit of a learning curve, I think, more so with ClickUp than maybe some other project management tools out there. But I always say ClickUp is what you make of it, and it will grow and expand with you as your business grows and expands. I think with some of the other ones, you do hit a wall at some point, depending on your needs, again.
Yeah, I've heard some really good things about ClickUp, so that's interesting to hear.
Yeah, it's really great. And I also use Airtable. Now, Airtable ClickUp can do a lot of the same things Airtable does. ClickUp has great view options. So they do have a table view that is very similar to Airtable. But I like having it on a separate platform because I used Airtable more for data collection and grouping. So I use it for my forms, like when I send out for testimonials. I use it for my content creation, planning, all sorts of stuff like that. So if anybody is like, ooh, I want to hear more about these things, come find me on Instagram, because I love talking about tools. And as a business strategist too, I recognize that depending on the business and business owner, your needs are a little different. So it's not a one size fits all, contrary to what, these platform companies will say. I do think it really depends on you, the consumer, and what you need for your business. So just because Airtable and ClickUp and Dubsado works for me, that doesn't mean it necessarily is like the best fit for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
So I see. I see Cindy asked, where is everybody? And I just wanted to say, so this is one of our weekly webinars. And if you want to network with more women, I highly suggest you check out our monthly happy hours. So the next one is happening, I believe, on next Thursday, so March 3rd. And there's going to be tons of other women in there. So definitely check that out. Okay.
And I also noticed Cindy said that I've used Google Docs for forms. So yeah, I use Google Drive for like storing files and documents. I have found that I use Airtable for forms instead of Google for forms, mostly because once the information comes in, Airtable allows me to sort and group the data better and easier, more intuitively than Google Forms. But that, again, that's my experience. And I try to not have a million different tools and everything spread out. My tech stack is pretty lean. I'm all about lean systems and processes. So the simpler I can keep my operations, especially as a solopreneur, the better. And I know that in the future that when I'm getting ready to hire people, having lean, simple systems is going to be key to training and onboarding. And then we can grow from there. But for right now,
yes, I agree. And I use Google Docs too, but that's primarily because a lot of my clients use Google Docs.
Yes.
So like I work with a lot of brick and mortar businesses that aren't really super tech savvy. So if I told them to find anything in Trello or Airtable or wherever, they'd be like, what? So I have to use Google Docs for them.
Yeah. And that's a great point about, you have to consider, are my clients going to need to have access to any of my tools, or am I going to have to share information via one of my tools? And what is going to be the most user-friendly option for my clients and make their experience with me the most enjoyable, right? And so that's the other thing about having vision of good client relationships, right? And building your business. It's relying on clients. Same thing with planning and strategy. Again, what can I do to make this easy? How can I make it easier and like figure out the steps? And then again, systems and processes. It's like, if they need to be going into Google Docs all the time, do I give them a link that they can bookmark? Do I, or do I send them the link in an email? Having, again, the systems and processes, super important on all levels of your business, not just for you, the CEO and business owner, but also for your clients, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of what I had. I didn't want to throw a lot of things at people. But again, just to recap, vision and planning helps you set direction so that you can focus your creativity and actually make an impact instead of waking up 5 years later and being like, what have I actually accomplished? Having strategy and plans means you can prioritize, you can hit the things that you need to do in order to make progress. And then systems and processes, again, makes you more efficient, makes you consistent. And all of this is so that you can have more time in your zone of genius without stressing and worrying that you're missing something or wasting your time. And your zone of genius, that's where the creativity flows. Creativity for Crystal looks different than creativity for me, and it will look different for all of you. And that's what we want more time for, right? In our businesses, is to do what we love. That's why we're in business. And it also means that we're stepping into our role as CEO of an actual business, right? And have more confidence in it. So I don't know if there are any questions. I don't see any in the chat.
Yes, feel free to post your questions now. And in the meantime, Ashley, I just wanted to say that was very valuable. You took this very, how do I say it? I think I said it in the beginning was, how to leverage your creativity. That's a very broad topic. And I feel like you really narrowed it down. So I think what you said was very, very valuable. So thank you for that. So I am so grateful to have each and every one of you join us. Be sure to follow at AHK Business Management on Instagram, and myself, Crystal Statskey, on social media. So if you are watching the replay on YouTube, please be sure to hit like and subscribe, and be sure to join the Monetize Your Passion Society on Facebook to join in on our future webinars. And like I had mentioned before, we're having our next virtual happy hour at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on March 3rd. We usually have quite a few women join us. They bring a cocktail, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, it doesn't matter. But you just come in and we just chat about what's going on in our businesses and get to know one another. And now's the perfect time when we're about to have more snowstorms and all that fun stuff. So, oh, sorry, I just saw what you were asking. Oh yes, please do share.
So one, I'm in the Facebook group too, so we can connect that way for people. I just love connecting, like I said. I'm also most active on Instagram, actually. So again, AHK Business Management is my handle. I have a weekly newsletter that I send out tips and resources for the business owner, growing CEO. And I work with, primarily right now, I work with service providers who, again, are looking to cut through all the overwhelm and all the ideas and noise in their head so that they can grow as a CEO and serve their clients well. And so I have a Chaos to Clarity VIP day where if you are like really stuck or you're just overwhelmed with, I don't know what to do next, and you feel like you need to simplify, but you don't really know, that would be for you. And then a Design My CEO day, which I kind of mentioned earlier about the importance of CEO days and a CEO schedule, to be quite frank. So that's again for business owners who are looking to step more into their role as CEO and leverage their time better in their schedule. So those are ways you can connect with me. But again, Crystal, this was a lot of fun. So thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you. I'm so glad you were able to join us. And everyone, I hope to see you next time. We are having another webinar on March 4th at 9 a.m. Eastern for all of you early risers. It's going to be an early one. We're having Julia Hickman discuss how to use podcasts as a marketing tool for high ticket programs. So that's going to be very interesting. But thanks again for joining.